First up is the media's reaction to Donald Trump's new press secretary, Karoline Leavitt. The left pretends to be a champion of women until they find one who is a conservative. Once that happens, they love nothing more than tearing down women with the most petty and vacuous of insults.
And you would think, ABC, having just paid $15 million for a defamation lawsuit, would think not to engage in conspiracy theories about assassination attempts, but I guess that's too much to ask from The View. I mean, I gotta ask you, because they said it, are you aware of any plots from Elon Musk to push President Trump down the stairs?
Absolutely not. Let me be unequivocally clear about.
Next up is how the media reacted to Donald Trump's new press secretary, Karoline Leavitt. Some critics claim to support women, until one holds views they don't agree with. Then suddenly, the comments turn personal and shallow. And you think ABC, after settling a $15 million defamation case, would avoid jumping into wild theories. But apparently, that's not the case on The View. I mean, I've got to ask because they said it. Has Elon Musk ever planned to push President Trump down the stairs? Absolutely not. Let me make that crystal clear.
Is to be a fierce operator, but she's also 27 and arguably quite glamorous. So of course, the kind and progressive voices at The View reacted to her appointment like this.
I think she's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
What happens when Karoline Leavitt wakes up ready to fight and files another lawsuit against The View like it's part of her morning routine? Well, some say it could lead to serious trouble, at least for daytime TV's loudest panel. Yep, Karoline's back with legal actions so big it might need its own filing cabinet. Could this be the moment The View faces its biggest reckoning? Will Joy Behar have to start a craft shop to cover the costs? Stay tuned. This drama is wilder than any backstage gossip at BravoCon.
And watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years. They likened President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him. They have shamed him. They have lied about him consistently on their show. And it was a joy to watch them on November the 6th, when they realized that tens of millions of Americans do not listen to the lies that they have spewed. These women are completely out of touch with reality. And you're right, ABC should wake up. They just paid $15 million to President Trump's future library. That's a great thing for the American.
Karoline Leavitt has done what few would even try. She walked into the chaotic world of daytime TV, picked the loudest panel on the airwaves, and decided to challenge them in court again. Yes, again, because apparently, one lawsuit wasn't enough to make the producers of The View rethink their approach to controversial content.
Abuse continued.
I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place.
Turns out, Karoline isn't just unimpressed by biased media coverage. She's built a whole image around calling it out in court with the kind of persistence most people save for chasing pets out of trouble. And now, with this latest legal move, she may have finally shaken things up. The View isn't just reacting, they're clearly caught off guard.
These kind of crazy questions from the White House podium, how do you plan to deal with it?
Yes, I absolutely will. I feel prepared to do that. I've been facing the media now, speaking on behalf of President Trump on the campaign trail for the past couple of years. And we are expecting the media to be hostile. However, Kaylee, if you do talk to a lot of these reporters off the record, they will tell you they look forward to more press transparency and access. And while we will expose the fake news when they are fake, we will hold them accountable for their lies and smears of President Trump. I can also assure reassure the American people that they're going to be hearing directly from the leader of the...
So what sparked this major legal showdown? Apparently, Karoline hit her breaking point after another segment where she was singled out during the show's usual round of fiery commentary. No quotes needed, we know the setup. 5 hosts, 2 mugs, and endless side-eye. But instead of stewing over it like most of us, Karoline filed legal papers. And this time, it's not just a swipe, it's a lawsuit so extensive it might need its own zip code. 6. Now here's the part everyone's talking about. This isn't just personal frustration. It's about what her legal team calls defamation, serious harm to her name, and a planned effort to damage her image, all wrapped in feel-good daytime segments. It's like lighting a match in a candle store and acting shocked when it backfires. According to insiders, Leavitt's case is built on one core belief. If a major TV show keeps treating her like a political target, eventually there are legal consequences, especially when that target files suit. The hosts may think they're tossing casual jokes, but Karoline's lawyers reportedly see it as televised damage with a side of sponsored lip gloss. And the genius of it? She's not arguing online. She's filing lawsuits with the quiet precision of someone who's organized every receipt, every clip, and every timestamp. And she's not stopping with the panel. She's going after the network, the production crew, even down to the guy who sets the snack table. And financially, it's already looking serious. Insiders say ABC's accounting team is flashing back to their last courtroom saga like it's a sequel. Legal bills are reportedly rising, insurance is reacting, and there's even quiet talk behind the scenes about trying to settle, just to stop the bleeding.
Clearly missed the art of the deal. You clearly failed to see what President Trump is doing here. You tried to say that the rest of the world would be moved closer to China when in fact we've seen the opposite effect. The entire world is calling the United States of America, not China, because they need our markets, they need our consumers, and they need this president in the Oval Office to talk to them. And that's exactly why more than 75 countries have called, because the United States of America is the best place in the world to do business. And as the president has shown great courage, as the secretary has said, in choosing to retaliate against China.
Behind the scenes, it's a different show entirely. Reports suggest staff are tiptoeing around like every hallway could come with legal paperwork. The mood? Picture a glitter storm during an audit. Sure, the hosts are still smiling on air, but off camera, budget cuts are slicing deeper than any scripted zinger. Promo shoots are vanishing. Guest segments are being rescheduled. Even the snack tray reportedly looks like it's on a diet. Meanwhile, Karoline Leavitt seems to be in control, turning this courtroom drama into a political production so precise it could make stage plays jealous. In some circles, she's now being called the person who finally got the loudest talk show to sit down, without even raising her voice. Just a well-aimed legal strategy with pages full of receipts. And this isn't just a headline grab, her team isn't only asking for damages. They're reportedly building a full case that outlines repeated personal jabs packaged as daytime chatter. If that sticks, the payout could be big. Not just headline big, but major impact on the network big. On the surface, the network is acting calm, smiling through it like nothing's wrong. But behind closed doors, the pressure's on. Legal teams are on standby, PR is working overtime, and ad partners are reportedly starting to get nervous.
First of all, the Democrat Party has gone woke, and now they have gone broke. They have their lowest approval ratings ever, and they are rallying around 2 of the most far-left leaders in their party, AOC and Jasmine Crockett. So that tells you the current state.
Apparently, a few sponsors weren't too happy to see their logos attached to what might soon be used in court as key evidence. And here's where it gets really interesting. While The View tries to manage the damage, Karoline's social media is on fire. Every time new court updates go live, her posts get more clicks, more shares, and even donations. Her online presence has evolved into a full-on content engine, fueled by headlines and iced coffee. She's gone from being the story to driving it. Some conservative voices are calling her the future of modern media strategy, not yelling into cameras, but holding them legally accountable. While others make noise on podcasts, Karoline's team is filing real paperwork. It's courtroom strategy, less shouting, more subpoenas. And as for The View, things aren't looking great. With the lawsuit tension rising and behind-the-scenes uncertainty, viewership is reportedly slipping. The show now feels less like a hit and more like a risk. Formerly easy-to-secure sponsorships are now harder to land. After all, no brand wants to be linked to a legal showdown, not ideal when trying to sell beauty products or home goods. One insider even joked the show's next big sponsor might be a legal aid firm. Meanwhile, Karoline is ramping up. Word is, this won't be her last legal move. Her team is reportedly digging through past episodes, possibly preparing for more lawsuits.
That you're walking into hostile territory, right?
Certainly do. And look, I think I'm well prepared for that. And I'm incredibly honored that President Trump has instilled confidence in me to speak on his behalf behind the White House podium. It's been an honor to have a front row seat to the greatest political comeback in history. And as you mentioned in your monologue, Sean, President Trump is putting together a brilliant cabinet of fantastic America First fighters, from Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, who are going to cut the waste out of our federal bureaucracy, to Susie Wiles, who is going to serve as the first female chief of staff in history. Take that. Mark Cuban, to Tom Homan. No one better to secure the border.
Her ultimate goal: a long-term pushback against what she describes as a media empire that crosses the line in the name of entertainment. And if she wins, well, the word canceled might take on a very different meaning. If the damages requested are anywhere near granted, The View could face major changes: fewer panelists, tighter ad budgets, and a new level of caution in what's said on air. The twist? Karoline's become a polarizing figure by design, seen as a disruptor by one side and a defender by the other. To some, she's challenging the status quo. To others, she's shaking up the system. But this isn't just PR, it's part of her brand. She's not dodging controversy, she's using it strategically, and if this seems like it's about attention, it's not. Karoline's moves are part of a larger plan. Each lawsuit is like a campaign ad. Each legal step builds credibility in her circle. She's crafting a path that doesn't just say commentator, it signals she's a force in media accountability. While The View hopes to weather the headlines, Karoline's already preparing for the next chapter. This isn't about one episode or a single comment. It's about challenging what she believes has been allowed to continue under the label of discussion for years.
It's insulting that you're trying to test my knowledge of economics and the decisions that this president has made. I'm now regret giving a question to the Associated Press. You're asking me for what the president's justification is for these tariffs. It's not up to you. You're not the president, Gabe.
To hire a spokesperson just so that Elon Musk doesn't put out tweets that then confuse federal workers.
Karoline Leavitt didn't just file a lawsuit. She launched a full-blown political brand. Courtrooms have become her version of a TikTok stage, and depositions are basically long-form content under fluorescent lighting. Each court date feels like another chapter in the Karoline cinematic universe, packed with intense headlines, heated commentary, and a well-timed Instagram story featuring coffee, calm, and constitutional flair. And it's working. Her social media stats are soaring like it's the 80s again, and the internet just discovered flexing. Follower counts sky high, engagement off the charts, and her donation link is getting more clicks than a trending clip from daytime TV. Forget ad campaigns, Karoline's legal battles are the campaign, a viral saga where she stars as both the bold fighter and the underestimated challenger, winning over every news-hungry intern with a signal and a side hustle. Conservative media, they're loving it like it's Free Lunch Friday. Some say she's being propped up like a national icon, right between old-school values and perfectly timed clapbacks. She's become a symbol, an influencer of outrage management, fighting back against mainstream media excess with court filings and an Instagram filter that screams unbothered. And the wildest part, she's not even yelling. She's letting her lawsuits do all the talking.
Heard that type of violent, enticing rhetoric from our side of the aisle, from Republican leaders on Capitol Hill, I think there would be a lot more outrage in this room today. It's unacceptable, the comments that have been made by these Democrat leaders, and frankly, they don't even know what they're talking about. Because President Trump was elected with a mandate from the American people to make this government more efficient. He campaigned across this country with Elon Musk, vowing that Elon was going to head up the Department of Government Efficiency, and the two of them, with a great team around them, were going to...
Now this is where the story flips. Usually it's The View that turns people into trending topics, roasting guests like marshmallows over a cozy campfire. But now, they're the ones making headlines, not for zingers or memes, but for legal headaches. Karoline rewrote the playbook. She's not reacting to the media storm, she's repackaging it and selling tickets. That backlash? It's been branded, monetized, and wrapped in a hashtag. Meanwhile, behind the scenes at The View, things are looking less sparkle, more scramble. You don't need spreadsheets to know that court battles aren't cheap. Toss in dropping ratings, awkward crowd reactions, and sponsors pacing the floor with their PR teams on speed dial. And suddenly, the vibe is crisis, not comedy. Even loyal fans are starting to notice. The usual firecracker chatter feels more like softly edited PR scripts. Laughter's thinner. Applause, slightly too eager. Maybe it's the legal bills, or maybe it's just hard to joke when the jokes might come with court dates. Behind the cameras, talk of host reshuffles and sudden hiatuses is heating up. ABC execs who once rode the show's influence high are reportedly crunching numbers, wondering when it's time to quietly pull the plug. But Karoline? She's just getting warmed up. Word is, her legal team has more binders than a stationery warehouse, and they're ready to roll if another episode crosses the line. Some say this is just phase one. She's not only taking on a show, she's targeting a whole media culture, turning courtroom wins into political points. This isn't about one segment gone sideways. It's a full-on strategy, a modern roadmap for turning controversy into capital. If The View was just the first to take the hit, they likely won't be the last. The real shakeup isn't coming from the ratings. It's coming from a Gen Z conservative who decided that when you're done being the punchline, you bring the paperwork. Karoline's not chasing attention, she's organizing it. No shouting, just subpoenas. And if the current trend continues, The View might find itself not trending, but ending. Not in flames, not in scandal, but buried in paperwork by a woman who decided silence wasn't golden.